We all have things that happened to us in the past that we wished they were different. But the key is not what happened to us, but what it is that we're going to do about it. We have two choices. One, we can say that situation, that what happened to us, it left a scar for life. Or number two, we can say, hey, this was in the past. Who cares? Now this is what I want and this is what I'm going to do. I'm leaving the past in the past. I'm going to give you a great example. Lots of people adopt dogs, right? There is a reason why a dog is adopted. You know, most of the time, that dog went through a really tough time, or a cat, right? Those animals went through a really tough time. And the person takes that dog, that animal, and that person has two choices. One, it can treat the dog like, oh, poor thing, look what happened to you. Look what you went through. And every time you look at the dog, you see the past and you feel bad. Or, number two, we can look at the dog and say, hey, that was past. Now you are lucky thing, right? Lucky boy, lucky girl. You are part of my family. And we will love you and take care of you, adore you. Well, depending on what we choose, we have a different path. Isn't that interesting? If we choose the option number one, and we always look at the path as the sum of the things that this dog went through, we will have a path with problems. Because in our mind, that dog is different. It's a poor thing. Look what happened to him or her. Or we can take a second option and we can say, this is the past and now we love you. And now we have well-adjusted dog in a matter of a very short time. I and my husband, we used to foster dogs, little poodles. We had 3-hour little poodles, and we just fostered little guys. And we got this little 5-pound poodle. It was with the people who rescued him for 2 weeks because he was, poodle you have to go take to the groomer all the time. That poodle was in a puppy mill. He was 8 years, vet said around 8 years young, and spent entire life in the cage. He never saw grass. He never left the cage, only to be a stud. And then what happened was he was so weak. He was eating sawdust, and he was so weak, that dog, that he couldn't stand up. He was so matted. The fur was so long. So he looked like he was like apricot color. Until when they got him and they shaved all his hair off, and he had so many fleas that basically most of his hair, his coat was eaten up. And when they shaved him, right, they discovered and bathed him 3 times because he was so dirty that he was actually pure white. He had to recover with some things with the fleas and all of that before we got him, because we had 3 other dogs. So it was 2 weeks when he came to our home. He had the cutest face. It was adorable. We call him Josh. He had only a little bit hair on, fur on his face, and the rest he was basically bald because his hair was eaten up by fleas. We look at that dog. We took him out for the first time on the grass, and you could see how fascinated he was. How he was on the grass. He didn't know what grass was. We could look at the dog and say, "Oh, you poor thing." But we say, you know what? Who cares what happened to you for the 8 years of your life? You are here now. We'll take great care of you. And if we have a great home for you to go, you'll go and you'll be treated like a prince. He was still very weak, so we fed him 3 times a day. My husband cooked, our dogs never eat dog food. They had gourmet meal. They were eating what we were eating. So he had, all this delicious food, and he became strong very quickly. He was a happy dog. He was so happy. Our dogs were very happy, but he was like, "Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this. This is a toy." He didn't know what to do with those things, but he discovered all those things. And we were excited with him and for him because we didn't look what happened to him. We left the past in the past and we look at this dog. What is happening to him right now? Look at him. He is happy. He's got us. He's a lucky dog. So we kept him for a few months until he got, he grew most of his coat. The coat was coming back, beautiful white coat. And he was adopted by 2 ladies who had already had their own poodle. It was a small poodle too, just a little bit bigger, and they took him in. They were sending us the pictures of the dog. He became a mascot of the neighborhood. He had ice cream paws. He had costumes, different sort of holidays. He had different costumes. He grew his entire coat. He was absolutely spectacular. And he was so loved. So what happened? What happened in the past? Who cares? What happened to you in the past? Who cares? You have a choice. Leave that past for the rest of your life and make it a huge disadvantage for yourself, or leave it in the past and shine and grow and evolve into something spectacular like that dog. My client just adopted a big black Labrador. That Labrador was extremely aggressive. He was in a shelter, which we call no-kill shelter. He was in a shelter and nobody would come even close to the dog because he was so aggressive. But my client finished the program, knows what I teach, and he looked at the dog as a sweet, loving, caring, a beautiful girl. So he came every day after work and sat in front of the cage and fell in love with the dog. And the dog would growl at him or bark at him. But he did it every time because he looked at the dog as a sweet, loving dog. In a matter of 2 weeks, in a matter of 2 days, 3 days, the dog started coming to him. In the matter of 2 weeks, he took the dog home because the dog just loved him. Because all he saw what this dog was now. Not that he was aggressive, not that something happened to him, not that he is, because of that, he is changed for life. No, Dogs have amazing nature. And he has her now for like 3 months, and she is sweet and adorable and gentle and loving and caring. How do you look at yourself? It all depends whether you will live in the past or whether we live in now. Dogs live only in now. We are the one that make them live in the past. Past and future are illusion. The only time that we have here is now. So how do we do things when something happened to us? My client's daughter was sexually abused. Young lady. And what happened is, I just told her, don't look at her that something happened to her. Because you say, oh, something like that stays with you for life. It's your choice if it does or does not. Look at her. Look at her like nothing happened. Treat her, think about her as being well-adjusted, loving, caring, and very confident person. Don't look at her what happened. Treat her the way like nothing ever happened. She told me, Amanda, it was the best thing I have ever done. I did what you told me. I felt lots of love for her. Anytime she mentioned something, I felt lots of love for her. I didn't comment on it, and I treated her like nothing ever happened to her. In 2 weeks, this young lady was perfect. She behaved like nothing happened. You can imagine how traumatic that was, right? And she was very, very, at the beginning, very, feeling very bad all about it. She was like, you might say, scarred for life. But because my client treated her like never happened, she has a boyfriend now, and she is very happy and very well-adjusted lady. So, leave the past in the past. You know, I have a client whose son was addicted to drugs. What do they tell us? That's for life. Once you're on drugs, it's for life. In other way, or what happened in the past, you drag it with you, and because of that, it becomes your life. It's a past. Leave past in the past. We can create everything for everyone. You are that powerful. So what I told this lady, you have to treat him this way, like he never was on drugs. Guess what happened? He stopped using the drugs. He got a job. He got a promotion. That's another promotion. He became a well-adjusted young man. It's been a long time now. A long, long time. And the one thing is, she looks at him the same way she looks at her 2 other sons. One day she said to me, I checked his pockets after he stopped using the drug. He said, I checked his pockets. I said, why did you check his pockets? She said, I just wanted to see if he's using drugs. I said, would you check pockets of your 2 other sons? Of course not, she said. Why not? I asked her. Because they don't use drugs. This is what I told her. When you leave past in the past, when you treat him the same way you treat the other two sons, he will be like the other two sons. He'll have healthy lifestyle. She did. And like I told you, he has an amazing life because of her. And because how she treats him, like he never ever used drugs. So whatever happened to you, leave it in the past. Leave past in the past. The whole thing is what I'm going to say to you. And this is huge. You will never understand yourself by looking at your past. Where you're right now and where you're going will tell you who you are. So leave past in the past and have this amazing person that is in you grow to new levels, starting from this moment, and evolve and blossom and become who you always have been. Amazing, incredible, loving, caring, perfect, because that is your true nature when you look at you right now. So, create your life magical by looking from now forward and have absolutely magical day.